What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing my preview of the Manchester derby. It's Manchester City taking on Manchester United in the Premier League. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 100 likes is the aim, and do get your thoughts in the comments below, including your score and team prediction for this game. Finally, this video is sponsored and brought to you by Football Prizes, where you guys can go and be in with the chance of winning a signed, framed Manchester City shirt from Josko, Gvardiol. Links and details there in the description. There's 225 tickets available. Each ticket costs £3.95 to enter. There are 15 instant prizes to be won, including signed, framed Manchester City shirts from Nathan Ake and Manuel Akanji as well. Some brilliant prizes to be won, so do go and check it out. Links and details there in the description, and a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. So, match information for this game taking place at the Etihad Stadium in Premier League match day number 16 on Sunday 15th of December 2024 with a 4:30 PM GMT kickoff time. Anybody heading to the Etihad Stadium, do enjoy yourselves. Alternatively, if you're wanting to watch in the United Kingdom, then the game is being broadcast live on Sky Sports. So our opponents, Manchester United, formed in 1878, led by manager Ruben and Amorim. They currently find themselves 13th in the Premier League. They're on 19 points from 15 games with 5 wins, 4 draws and 6 losses in the Premier League so far. Looking at their current form under new manager Ruben and Amorim, they've won 3, lost 2 and drawn 1 in all competitions. They're lacking a little consistency. I imagine that Amorim will want to bring his own players in January and also into next summer as well to try and adapt and play his way. So Manchester United, even though the amount of money that they've spent, are finding themselves a little bit, with a new manager coming in, transitioning. And Manchester City, with an ageing squad, are going to have to let players go and bring some new blood in through January and into the summer as well, like Manchester United do, and we need to transition too. So we're looking here at 2 teams that need to transition. One, we're trying to bring in fresh new blood and new ideas, whilst the other wants to bring in players who wants to be able to fit his system better than the current crop of players that they have got. Now, in terms of Manchester United's last Premier League game away from home, they lost 2-0 against Arsenal. In their last Premier League game as well, they lost against Nottingham Forest by 3-2 at Old Trafford. They did, though, beat Victoria Plzen on Thursday night away from home in Czechia. It does mean that Manchester United have had 1 day less rest and preparation for the Manchester derby. Now, in terms of the dangers, well, I feel like Manchester United's route into this game is going to be them trying to expose Manchester City's high line with ageing defenders. So the likes of Haaland and Rashford and Garnacho, they've got to be rubbing their hands, and Manchester United will be thinking to themselves, this is a brilliant time for them to play Manchester City. City look frail, they look lack of confidence, and they look like if Manchester United are to score first, that City's heads could drop. Alternatively, City score first, I can imagine United's heads start to drop as well. So I feel like if Manchester City can try and stop the supply to the attackers, could be a really good route into the game. We also need to be more creative, and we also need to be clinical in front of goal as well. And I'm wondering just how this midfield battle's going to look, because I look at Man United's midfield and I'm thinking the likes of Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, and I'm thinking there isn't a lot of legs, there isn't a lot of pace, and Man City's midfield also doesn't have a lot of pace, and United may want to go with runners. So I'm wondering maybe if Kobe may start in this game as they try and look for more legs in midfield. Let's not forget that Ruben Amorim has played Manchester City only last month whilst in charge at Sporting Club de Portugal, and also did a job on Pep Guardiola in that game as well. So he knows the tactics that he's looking for, he knows the execution, and he knows how to beat Manchester City's current side. Has he got the players that can do that? And I feel like in this game, probably more important than ever of any other game that we've had so far this season, or in quite a while as well, first goal is absolutely crucial to this game. Manchester City got to be looking at Manchester United and thinking defence can be got at. you go with the runners. Doku didn't play particularly well against Juventus, but I give him another run out here because I'm looking at United's right-hand side. I'm expecting it to be possibly Diallo starting with Yoro starting as their right-sided centre-back. Could potentially be Dallo starting on that right-hand side. And I'm thinking what we didn't do particularly well against Juventus was we stuck with the tactics. We didn't learn our lessons, and it took way too long to change things up. If Doku weren't working in the first half on the left-hand side, then as we start the second half, you move into the right-hand side and you try and alternate that way and try and find a route into the game. And that's what City have got to be looking for. You've got to remember here, United are playing a different formation that they've not been playing for a long time, and they're still adapting, they're still getting used to it. So if there's any cracks, any at all, City have got to be all over it. I don't want a slow start. I don't want us to suss Manchester United out. I want us to go at them like the wind. I want us to attack, and try and hurt Manchester United at any given opportunity. It's a Manchester derby. It's a derby game. Anything can happen. A lack of effort, a lack of passion, and a lack of playing for the badge, quite simply coming up short in any of them categories, not going to be good enough from both City and from United as well. I expect both sides to really try and take the game to each other, so we could be in for a Manchester derby classic, which normally when we build things up like that naturally means both sides cancel each other out. We end up with a draw, quite a boring game, a 0-0 or a 1-1, and we move from there. We'll see what will happen, but it's a very unpredictable Manchester derby. Reminds me a lot of the kind of derbies. I've supported City for 22 years. It reminds me of the kind of derby that we used to get back when Manchester City pre-takeover, where we're looking at the schedule, we're looking at the fixtures, and we're thinking, right, when we're playing Manchester United, well, that's the game where we really need to defend tight, defend deep, defend well, look to try and work the ball to the attackers, show no fear, don't be scared to have some shots, and try and make things happen and try and be a little more expressive and look for them magical moments. And that could be something that we see more of in this game as well. So to me, really big derby, one of the biggest derbies that we've seen in years, in particular in Manchester, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good game of football. It's the ideal kind of game for us to try and end this poor run of form of only one win in 10 games. Let's go and make it 2 wins in 11 games. Doesn't sound great, but it sounds better than 1 win in 10 games. Alternatively, though, with everything on the line, United could well come to the Etihad Stadium and do us. And if that is the case, then 1 win in 11 games and losing the Manchester derby at home, where do you go from there? Very interesting. So United missing Luke Shaw. Johnny Evans could also be missing this game as well. So I'm expecting United to line up with a 3-4-2-1 formation. Anana starting in goal. Back three made up of Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez. Diallo out wide with Dallo on the other side. Casemiro, Fernandes going through midfield. Maybe you might see Manu. If so, who comes in? I'm not sure. Garnacho starting with Rashford and Haaland up top. I have heard some rumours going around about teams being linked coming in from either Diallo or Garnacho. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs at Manchester United. So if that has an impact on a starting 11, I don't know. We'll wait and see. Anyway, City formed in 1894, led by manager Pep Guardiola. We're 4th in the Premier League. Win here, looking pretty good for keeping hold of our top 4 spot for the next game or two, which is always good. So not all doom and gloom if if the season was to end and City sit in 4th place. We've not won the Premier League. It's not great, but we've got a Champions League spot for next season. You work through and go from there. It is what it is. We've got 6 days off after this game as well, so we've got plenty of time for reflection and rest after this game. As I said, with the form, 1 win in 10 in all competitions. Won our last home game though against Nottingham Forest in the Premier League by 3-0. We did draw away in our last Premier League game away from home against Crystal Palace 2-2. Trailed twice, came back twice, so a good show of character there. We did lose midweek on Wednesday against Juventus. We lost 2-0 in that Champions League game. The form at the moment, the worst that City have seen since Stuart Pearce was in charge for City all the way back in 2006. So, in terms of dangers for Manchester City, well, there's still dangers all over the pitch. As there's players like De Bruyne and Erling Haaland sitting on the pitch, then Manchester United have to be very, very careful. Give them an inch and they'll run a mile with it, and that's always been the case. City are missing some important players. Obviously, Rodri and Oscar Bobb, 2 long-term absentees. Akanji, John Stones waiting for an update on them. I don't believe that they're too far away from a comeback. It'd nice to have one or the other back for this game. We'll have to wait and see, and in particular with Rico, Lewis suspended and Nathan Ake out of this game as well, it'd be nice to have one of Akanji or John Stones back for this game. We do have Mateo, Kovacic and Phil Foden back though, which is always good. So I'm going to pop up my team prediction now. I reckon we're going to go Ortega ahead of Ederson, so I think he's going to start. I think it's going to be a back three made up, and I know a lot of people have been criticising Kyle Walker's form. There's been lots of abuse directed his way, which I think is absolutely disgusting. I want to see Manchester City fans getting behind their players and backing them 100%. In particular, Manchester City's captain, who helped lift the Premier League trophy to break records and win 4 Premier League trophies in a row, helped Manchester City to win the treble back in 2023 as well. The abuse that Kyle Walker has got has been absolutely disgusting. That doesn't mean that he's exempt from criticism or, you know, discussing the form and things like that, but to direct personal abuse to the player, absolutely disgusting. I've got absolutely no time for that, and hopefully Manchester City will come down hard on those who have been directing their abuse towards Kyle Walker. But I think he's going to start this game. I think he's going to go on the right side of centre-back, Ruben Diaz through the middle, and Josko Gvardiol goes on the left-hand side. And I think Josko Gvardiol is going to be told to stay back, so it's always going to be a back three for Manchester City. It's been spoken about by Pep Guardiola, and I think we're going to see it. I think Matheus Nunes is going to start, and a lot of people have been asking about seeing Matheus Nunes in defensive midfield or in a deeper role. Well, I think that's going to happen. I think Nunes is going to be told to try and play as that Rico Lewis role, so it could be him maybe at right back. Sounds very strange, in particular if Akanji or John Stones isn't fit for this game, but he's more a physical presence, excellent with his distribution. He's also can play in central midfield as well and gives us extra legs, and he's pretty fresh too. So I think Nunes is going to be given the nod in that Rico Lewis role, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Could be a disaster, could be a stroke of genius. We'll have to wait and see, and because of that I think he's going to need a bit of support. If Kovacic is fit, I'd go with him. If not, it'll be Gundogan, but I'm just a bit worried about legs, so I'd go with Kovacic for the distribution. I feel like that would link up better with Matheus Nunes if he does end up starting this game, and then I go with the fresh legs of Phil Foden. Alongside him, you've got to be starting Kevin De Bruyne, or I go with Bernardo Silva out on the right wing. Jeremy Doku starts for me on the left wing, and Erling Haaland starts up top. I am unsure about the team selection. It's one of the most difficult team selections to predict. The likes of Grealish, Savinho, Gundogan. How do you work them into the squad? What's going to happen? If we're lacking defenders, do you go with Simpson per se? What do we go with? Do you look for energy? Are we looking for passion? Are we looking for consistency? Are we looking for experience? What are we looking for? Big response needed for Manchester City as far as I'm concerned. Now, in terms of my score predictions, we're looking here at 2 pretty bad defences. Let's not skirt around this. There are 2 teams whose form has been pretty poor as of late. These are 2 teams that are under a lot of pressure, and to me, I can see these 2 sides cancelling each other out and us doing battle through other games instead, and we're happy to settle on what we've got and come away with a 0-0. I don't want a 0-0, but I can see this being a 0-0. But I can also see this being a classic, a 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, a 5-4, a 6-4, a 6-3, something, a classic, loads of goals in this game. Could be one way or the other. We'll have to wait and see how this game pans out. If both these teams decide to just attack and go at each other, could be one for the ages. Could be an absolute classic, and it could be a goals galore game. What's going to happen? I have no idea. And for me, the beauty of Derby Day here in Manchester. Now, in terms of my betting tips, I think if we do see goals, I'm going for academy lad Phil Foden to score any time. He does like a goal at the Etihad against Manchester United. And if City do decide to attack and send Josko Gvardiol further forward, I wouldn't rule out an outsider of him to score or assist anytime as well. And if United score, I can see a counter-attack goal. And if that does happen, do wait until teams have been announced, by the way, before placing any individual bets on players, but it'll come from the pace. So I think any of the United front three, Garnacho, Rashford, Haaland, there'll be good bets to go towards. Now, next up for Manchester City, we have 6 days off, and then we're going to face Aston Villa away from home next Saturday in the early kick-off. Manchester United, they're taking on Tottenham Hotspur on Thursday night away in the League Cup. it could have been if City had knocked Spurs out, which was the loss that started this poor run of form for Manchester City, by the way. Could have been back-to-back Manchester derbies at the Etihad Stadium as well. But c'est la vie. United, they face Bournemouth at home next Sunday in the Premier League at 2 p.m. Last note, no watch along for this game, unfortunately. Good luck charm JSGC is going to be at the Etihad, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I can be the good luck charm once more and help bring Manchester City a much-needed 3 points. Managed to see City get a really late goal against Arsenal to salvage a draw back at the Etihad in September. I was there, seeing Manchester City beat Nottingham Forest in our 1 win in 10 games. Well, here I am, second game in 11 games. Hopefully, fingers crossed, good luck charm can come into use and we can pick up a huge 3 points and win the Manchester derby and clarify that Manchester very much is blue. So there we go, that has been today's video. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. 100 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, including your score and team prediction for this game. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring today's video, where you can go and check out that signed, framed Manchester City shirt from Josko, Gvardiol. 15 instant prizes to be won as well, including signed frame shirts from Nathan Ake and Manuel Akanji as well. Do go and check it out. Links and details, they're in the description. And thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. Would appreciate anybody checking them out. And I'll see you all again real soon for the next video, which will be my reaction to this game. I'll also have a match vlog out for this game for you guys to enjoy over the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Derby day. Looking forward to it. Bring it on. Biggest one in years. I've been JSGC. Thanks for watching. Peace. Ciao for now.